Howdy, hey, hello, it's McKenna, and this is Munch and Mingle. Welcome to day 11. Wow, it's a little bittersweet. We're almost done. Sorry, this episode's getting out just a little later this morning. I am running on 5 hours of sleep, and my eyes were hurting so bad this morning that I couldn't even open my laptop for like the last hour. So I obviously want to compile all my thoughts before I get on here. And instead of typing it out real quick, I wrote it all down, handwritten, right here in a notebook. So that's what put me a little bit behind schedule. But I'm really excited to talk about this. This is something that Brit and I have been working on for, let's say we're going on 3 years now of really honing in and doing this. But we're going to talk about today how you could save money in 2026. Yes, it's here. It's always a worthy goal to want to save money, but maybe you're in a situation that just does not seem realistic, or you're trying and it's still not working. Well, I'm going to tell you from the two people who should not have been able to make this work because we were drowning. Somehow we have made it work, and we have also been able to, yes, pay off $10,000 in debt this year. We still have a lot to go, but that is still so incredible. Where we used to always carry a balance on our credit card, now we are paying so much more and it's going towards a debt. Like, it's incredible. So let's kind of get into all of that, and we'll just kind of get going from there. So like I said, about 3 years ago, almost about fall 2023, we were in such a hard place, y'all. We didn't even have that many expenses, and yet we barely had any money to spend. Thank heavens, Brit and I woke up one morning, must have been the same day, and we were just done. Frankly, done. Already having little money, but also feeling like we had no idea where it was going, how we were ending up in the negatives all the time. So you might have an idea of where this is going, but before you assume, this is going to be another course intro or a get rich quick scheme. I thought I turned my phone off. Hold on, y'all. Let's just disconnect. I've realized. So sorry. This is not that. No, I'm actually going to tell you the exact motto we live by. And because of that motto, how we run our finances to fit that. The motto is sound, but you might find ways that actually work better for y'all to save money, which is good. I want you to create this specific to your style. However, with that being said, we also are looking for change and movement towards more money in our account. So we don't keep doing what we're doing. If that style is, I go to the mall and I get to spend whatever I want, which I can't believe we're saying the mall, but yes, it's like becoming a thing again. Shopping at the mall, being at the mall. Or I go to the drive-thru every day. Okay, that might be your style, but that might not be the best way right now. I'm not saying you can't do those things in the future, but we need to really step back and look at what is all happening in your account. Then we can start adding in here and there more of that bougie style, which we all have, and I love them. Of course, I have to say this, as most of you know, I wear a lot of hats in my life. One of them is not a legal financial advisor. Brit and I are still working on getting through the rest of our debt, which at this point I can just tell you, it is student loans. But I'm just going to share what has helped us to get more financially secure in our life, to pay off all that money in debt, and hopefully it can help one of y'all out there. But again, I am not a legal financial advisor. Just got to put that out there. Okay, the motto. What is this motto? When it comes to money, create more friction. Meaning, make it harder to spend and easier to save. That's it. If you need to do the traditional envelope system, we did it at the beginning and we kind of still do. It does help. Really, to see all of your money laid out in front of you and then to watch it leave your hands physically, it does something inside you like, whoa, okay, that is friction that has been removed. Now we have the tap, we have the phone tap, like we have online shopping. No wonder we're losing track of our money because we don't ever see it. That's another thing I just thought off the top of my head. When you get paid, if you go cash out your check, I mean, that would be even funner. Like tell your employer, I don't know how hard this would be, like, hi, I need a physical paper check this week. And then you go take that to the bank and you're like, I need this cashed out. Then have that money handed over to you. Ooh, that's scary. I can only imagine then you're like, whoa, I don't just want to go like blow it because then you're physically seeing it. So just a thought. You know our motto towards money now, but how did it start? How did we get to this point? So first things first, when we decided to make this transition, like I said, we didn't really even have that many expenses at the time, but still knew that not only did we not have enough money in our account, we were in the negatives a lot. And that's scary. And that's, frankly, it is irresponsible. I mean, we have kids. So we really were feeling the pressure of like, we got to figure this out and this can't continue. So what we did first, I got on to our bank and side note, we have to include this. If you're not with a credit union, maybe let's think about switching. I just remember one day in adult roles, I don't know if y'all have that at your school, but we did. And there is a part in there that is like the financial literacy part. Because at least in the state of Utah, I think it's a requirement. Yes. In high school, you have to take a financial lit course. And it was either the actual class, financial literacy, or you could take this adult roles, which would cover like a good chunk of financial lit. But anyway, my teacher, bless her heart, where are you? Shout out Mrs. Lucas. Love her. She swore by a credit union over a bank. And I just remember her intensity about it. I don't even remember all that she said. I just knew she was like trying to pound that into our head, like, you have to do a credit union. You must. Well, somehow I still ended up with Wells Fargo at one point. But this was, I believe, gosh, I don't know why. I think my parents were with Wells Fargo. And so that's why I probably just opened an account too. But it was a second. And all I do remember was it was a very, very stingy and scary part of like my money. I just remember there were issues, fees would come up. And as a kid, or it must have been either in high school or right off my mission, I was like, no, I think it was before my mission because I do remember I had Mountain America when I was on my mission. So anyway, I remember it was also super hard to leave Wells Fargo, which is a clear sign. If you're in a bad spot and it's harder to even get out of that, that's like your clear sign you're doing the right thing. But anyway, get to a credit union. Okay, back to the point. So get onto your bank online and you're going to go find your bank statement and you are going to print out your last month's statement. And then you want to grab either one highlighter or, if we're feeling fancy and fun, a couple of highlighters. And you are going to then audit your finances. And we are going to see where all your money is going. If you have one highlighter, then you're only going to highlight what is not a necessity. Does that make sense? So any like payments that are going towards other things that it's not really like, we don't need a Netflix subscription. We want a Netflix subscription. It's going to make us happy to have it, but it's not like if they shut off Netflix tomorrow, we would hate our lives a little bit, but we wouldn't die, right? Or any extra shopping for clothes, fast food, extracurriculars, experiences, all that. That's what I want you to be highlighting. Now, if you do have the multiple, then we're going to go through and highlight categories. Okay. So you could highlight your necessities as one and then highlight all the rest. Like, how much are you spending in fast food? How much are you spending in subscriptions? All that. Now, if you haven't gathered, yes, Dave Ramsey Way is going to make an appearance, but also methods from Caleb Hammer are going to jump in here, Dana Mon, and more. Oh, you guys don't know Dana yet. Oh, but don't worry. We will get to know Dana. Okay. When I'm talking about the necessities here, Dave Ramsey refers to these as the 4 walls, which are housing, which includes kind of like utilities as well, transportation, and then food and clothes. Those are your 4 walls. That is what's going to make us a sound and functioning person. So beyond that, that's what we're highlighting, all those extras. Now at the end, we're going to add up your categories. This truly is the best way to wake you up. You're going to see it all laid out in front of you. Oh, and another side tip. Gone are the days of only one person covering the finances. Of course, if you're like a single person and this is just you, then yes, okay, sorry. You might still have to cover them. But if we are in a marriage, you have a spouse, that's done. Both people are covering the finances. I want each of us to know what are the card pins, what are the passwords to the bank accounts, how do I say this? Working the accounts, both people know how to function and work inside the actual app or the website to know how to transfer money, to where to grab money from. And if one person knows that better, great. Welcome to training day. You're teaching the other person. Both of us need to be on the same page. And if we are in separate accounts, it is time to merge. Yes. We want to create friction with our money, not with our other half, our significant other. That is not where we need friction. And if you are trying to manage finances in separate accounts, it is going to be 10 times harder. It is going to be so much friction that is not the good kind. It's what's the word I'm looking for here? It is doomsday for y'all, okay? Come together. I have talked to people of both sides. I have seen both sides of being in the same account or not. And it just makes more sense if we're trying to get on the same page financially that we're working from the same place. Okay? But then going back to my point, even if we are in the same account, it is not fair for one person to carry that weight. I've heard some people who have basically been like, oh yeah, heaven forbid I ever get a divorce because I would have no idea how to run the finances, how to get into the account. That's terrifying, actually. Legitimately, no. You guys are in this together. Again, it's not fair for one person to carry the load, but also not really smart for that either. We both do this together. Okay, sorry. Rant over. Okay, now we have our totals. Right? You've listed all your categories. You've seen where your money is going. Now we need to track or list where our income is coming from. All the places we get money. Work, of course, but any side hustles, any little things that are going to be bringing income in, even if it's just like a once a month thing. Donating plasma. Yes, we've all done it. Wherever it's coming from, just mark it. Now, hopefully at the end of this, you're going to have 2 numbers, and the number hopefully is bigger of money of income than the number of what you spent. I gather, though, if you're this far in the episode, it was either equal or worse, it was less. Please don't feel bad. Again, I'm really wanting to make the point. Brit and I were so accustomed to seeing our account in the negatives when we started this. Okay? You are not alone. Things get tough and no shame to our parents. We just weren't taught these things. We weren't shown how to do these things. It was kind of like, hey, here's a card now. Don't spend too much, right? Meaning not like, oh, our parents gave us a credit card. No. Meaning here's how you set up a debit card and here's how you put money into it. Have at it, And it's great because every generation we want to do better. So don't worry. McKenna will be setting up a whole homeschool unit for financial lit. Our kids are going to know how to use a bank account very, very early on in their life. Not even bank account, just how to deal with money. Okay. You could even throw in the Caleb Hammer method at this point of making a pie chart to even further visualize where all the money is and where it's all going. We love visuals when it comes to finance. This, again, is where I hope reality really kicks in at this point. If it didn't before, now, because you're seeing it. And especially if you're spending more than you make, you're really seeing oh crap. Now we insert the budget, the favorite B word that we all love. Not really. And I think it's because the budget gets a bad rap, so much being like, oh, I'm here to restrict you and not let you have fun. No, that's not it at all. The budget is just the roadmap now of, okay, here's that money. Here's where I need it to all go to. And then whatever you have left, like that's the other thing. The point is you want to have margin. You want to have money to spend to these other things that you do want. But it's just going to help you make sure that that happens. I mean, this is also coming from a wedding planner, y'all. This is what so many people in their jobs do. You have to know what your resources are, so then you know what you can output and what you can give. That's just all it is. Please do not think the budget is a bad word. It is a good thing to, above all, give you guys the security and structure that we all need. Now, there are digital apps for budgeting. What are they? Every Dollar, Dollarwise is Caleb Hammers, the YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. But a lot of these do require payment to get, for sure, the premium version. I know they have free versions, but let's be real. If you're getting an app for budgeting, you want the premium. Like I know, what is it? Which one? Every Dollar. If you get the premium, it links to your bank account and it automatically does the tracking for you. So I'm sure the other apps are like that too. But in this case, where we are needing to spend less, we probably can't get the premium budgeting app right now. So what are we going to do? Yes, we're going to whip out a notebook. What better friction than taking a pen to a paper? I mean, honestly. And please know, for a couple months there, like we did this on it. What am I talking about? I still do pen and paper because for me, that is the type of friction I need. Although I have a lot of things like I've incorporated that I'll talk to you about in our account, I still do another tracking outside of it just to make sure I am so in line, because I would be shocked if when you stop this or start this, if you're not so in line with it, because when you start to get these little bits of freedom and you're getting further and all of a sudden you're not in the negatives and you're actually making progress, it is addicting. And it's a good type of addiction to be responsible, to have your house in order. It's a good thing. So anyway, okay. Now how we're going to write out this budget. We're going to write out your total number of money that you make in a month. And then below that, we're going to list out those necessities, those 4 walls first. Then we're going to stop. We're going to look at what we have. And we're going to, 1, are we making enough to cover the 4 walls? Great, move on. But if we're not, now we have to stop for a second. And this is the new goal. How do we make, there's 2 options here. How do we make more money? Or how do we change the money that, like, in those necessities? So if we need to make more money, there's just no way we can change our necessities or those payments. Then let's look for some side hustles. Like I said earlier, you could donate plasma. You could walk dogs. There's so many apps now that like have you make money. So walking dogs, delivery drivers for Uber Eats, DoorDash, Spark Driver. That's the Walmart delivery order. Or Instacart. Those are methods we can do. But also look at your living situation. I don't know if there's usually a way you can make your rent or house payment go down, but what about utilities? Could you turn down the heat in the day, turn it off, you bundle up a little bit more, throw some socks on, and then at least where I live, if we open up those blinds, 5 days out of the week, we're seeing some sun. Okay, we have been seeing more sun lately right now. But open up the blinds, not the windows, the blinds. Let the sun come in and kind of heat up your house that way, just during the day. Is it fun? No, but remember, friction. We are looking towards friction. It's going to require a little bit more effort, but we're going to see a greater reward. How much is also going towards your transportation? Do you have a car payment? Could we not? No ego amigo, y'all. I am not joking. When we found Britain's beater car, and they're still out there, and I say beater loosely. Yes, when you look at it, it's a sad car. It's a 95, but it works, and it's great for a commuter car. And when we found it, I told him, we have found you the car. But there is no ego amigo loud in here. Isn't that what Jess Sims says? You cannot have an ego amigo in this moment at all when you're trying to get your finances and your house in order. So for this case, if you have to have a beater car, even if it's like we have one reliable car, but then we also have the beater car, which is the commuter, fine. And it doesn't have to be a beater. It's just a car. All your cars should be paid in cash, but especially like this car, it's not there for the looks. It's just to get from A to B. Okay. But also, maybe, depending on where you are, your work situation, could we take a bus? Could we take the tracks once a week? Could you even bike? It's winter, so I get it if you don't want to do that. But if you can't tell, gone are the days of entitlement and ease. But please remember, we are gaining security and structure in this moment, which is so crucial. But we have to let go of the entitlement of I deserve this or that. Once again, you can get there. You will get there, especially as you start aligning your financial goals and everything together. You can totally go out and buy the Tesla, buy whatever truck is the best truck right now. I don't know. But you have to do it the right way. We're not going to cut corners, because if we are, you're ending up with a giant car payment or putting you more in debt, yes. But then you're also getting interest on top of that. So you're just taking more money, all for what? Just to show like I could be driving a Toyota Highlander, a Lexus, whatever. Shout out if any of you have those cars. That's great. But let's pay for those in cash, because cars especially, I could go on a whole rant, as we know. They are depreciating assets. So why would you spend so much on something that is actually, it goes down in value? Maybe let's put that money towards something that goes up in value. Just a thought. Okay. Oh, and I have to insert. Let's just say you are looking at all this. You're going over your necessities. You're going over everything you can do to save money, to make more money. Maybe times just really are super tough though. And we've been there too, where you just have circumstances beyond the normal, disabilities, single parent, or you just have one income because a parent is at home with littles. That was us. There is, and there are, government assistant programs for this. You have WIC, you have SNAP, you have Social Security. There are, I think there's even, what's it called? At least in Utah. Is it called like HEAT? Or you can get help with your utilities. Like there are methods to help you in these really, really tough and hard moments. But please hear me when I say this. You have to be so careful if you go down this route. You have to always be on your guard, because you can get into a situation where it almost becomes like, oh, well, I just have this, so now I can go spend the extra money on the things I want to, or I don't have to worry about this. So the friction dies down. You're not as on your game because, again, you don't have to. That is a huge recipe for disaster. And we are trying to become reliant. We are trying to become so in touch with our finances that it's like we are not ruled by the finances. We rule our finances. And again, we don't want to become reliant on the assistance or really government at all for that matter. It's totally fine to help you get on your feet. Take the chance, do it, but then use it. If you are getting help for like WIC, then okay, great. We have the time now that we're not worrying about paying for formula or food for the kids. I mean, it's not all food for the kids, but like the higher priced things. So now we can kind of get it together and maybe build up a reserve or put a little extra to get this debt paid off. So we're not having to worry about that debt payment, you know? Sorry, I'm going like all over the place. I'm really passionate about this. Okay. So let's say at this point you do have your four walls taken care of and you do have leftover money. Great. Shopping spree, right? No, at least not right now. Again, remember, it's coming. But right now where we're at, we now need to build that security. Do you have an emergency fund or a rainy day fund, whatever you want to call it? Dave Ramsey will tell you, and I'm sure we've all heard this in the baby steps, $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. And this is if you have debt. Caleb Hammer will tell you 3 to 6 months of what your income is to be your emergency fund. Now, if you're following in the Dave Ramsey baby steps, he does also get to 3 to 6 months of income. That's just once your debt is paid off. And that's because he's very big on not wanting you to pay more in interest, and debt is crippling, especially if you owe, like if the payments are here, which we all owe, but if you're underwater on that, like that can get really scary. So that's why he really hones in on you have the $1,000 socked away if something comes up, because it inevitably will, usually medical or car. So it's there. It's not meant to cover it all, but that's the whole thing. It's trying to fire you up to get that debt paid off faster, because we only have $1,000. So if anything happens beyond that scope, like we're screwed, but not really. Like you'll figure it out. And trust me, we've been in situations where we saved more than $1,000 and then we had a car repair. I am not joking you. We got to a total amount. Our AC went out, our brakes went out at the same time on our car. That entire savings went to the car. And I was crushed, y'all. This happened this summer. I was crushed because we had saved that money up for when Britton was doing his internship and he wasn't getting paid. And it went all towards our car. But as so many people reminded me, at least it was able to get the car paid off, like the repairs. And we didn't go into further debt. And somehow, because of that, I think that's what lit the fire in Brit and I more. Even with him working, or at least being in an internship that wasn't getting paid, we still found ways to somehow get through. So the point in case is there. That's why I like the Dave Ramsey plan. It is kind of formulated to be like, hey, we're going to build that friction to light that fire underneath you so you get out faster. Okay. But you will get to that point. So if you have the extra money, let's make sure we do have the security. But now we have to look at, okay, do we have debt? Do we have debt payments? And this is any school loans, credit cards, a car payment. Yes, that's not a necessity, y'all, because again, you could buy a car in cash. And it might not be the $80,000 car that you want, but you can get onto ksl.com. You can get onto Facebook Marketplace and you can go find someone who is selling a car. That's exactly what we did with Brit's car. Again, it is a very humbling car, but it works and it gets us to where we need to go. So yes, we don't need a car payment. So we need to make sure that the minimums though on the other debts are covered. And now then, what are you left with? If you still have money left over, great. You guys, we are doing good. See, I know there's money, and that's the beauty of the budget. More times than not, you find out you actually do have money. It was going to other places. But now, if you don't have the money to pay off your debts, that's where we need to start putting in some more friction, okay? If it's a car payment, can we sell the car? Yes. If it's a credit card, we need to cut the credit card up, okay? Which should be done regardless, because if you don't have money to pay off your credit card, you are not a credit card person. And I know Dave Ramsey is a big, just no credit card person at all, but I do know people who have credit cards, but it's because they are credit card people. So they actually get to utilize the points, the rewards, whatever it is, because they never carry a balance. And that's a big controversy. That's why I'm like, you pick for you what is better for your family. You know you. If you're going to spend more money because you have the access to a credit card, you're not a credit card person. But if you're only going to put utilities on this credit card and you're going to gain the points from it and be able to reap the rewards from that, then okay, go at it. Go have at it. That's totally fine. I'm not about saying you can't do this or that, but that's again, just we need to be so real. So if you do have money though, money left over, how much of that can you throw at the debt to get it gone if you have the debt? Because remember, so many debts have interest. So even when you're paying minimums, that's great, but paying extra money just because, not so great. So now we're looking at though, let's say you're good, maybe you have no debt, which again, awesome. Love that for you. I'm so proud of you. But now let's look back. Okay, do we have a streaming service or a subscription that we really don't need right now? Maybe we skip the drive-through for a few months just until we can build up a little bit of reserve. That can also go for if you're trying to take away or put more money towards debt, the same thing. But if you're also trying to build your reserve, your savings, that's exactly what it is. It's just a little bit of time to build up that reserve. And more times than not, it's going to be so much faster than you think. We've just become accustomed to ease in our life that the minute you start like, oh, wait, okay, I could cut back on this, you'll have a reserve fund in no time. I promise you. So now here comes the real friction: tracking. Yes, a budget is going to tell you where your money should go, but you also want to become so close with every dollar and getting in the habit of looking at your bank account at least, for sure, once a day, especially in the beginning of all this. The longer you do this, you probably won't have to do that, like looking at your bank account so much, because you'll become so good with the comings and goings in your account. But right now, you're wanting to be getting to know your account so intimately. You need to know it, who they are, what they stand for, where they're going, all that shebang. It is like another family member in your life, because this is so important to get your house in order. That's why I'm like, finances are another part of that in your life, in your marriage, in your relationship. Sorry, I'm rambling. So here's my virtual envelope system. If you don't know what the envelope system is, Dave Ramsey talks about it. And this was, oh my gosh, I don't know how long ago, but when you were getting your checks, you would get your cash, and you would then, with your budget, you would separate the money into envelopes. So you'd have a grocery envelope, and however much money you were putting towards groceries, you would put that much cash in that envelope. Same with gas, same with house payment, a lot of da-da-da. Well, that is tricky still. And I've been to places that don't even accept cash. So you do need a debit card, but I still liked the envelope system. But and like I said, for when Brit and I started this, we were using the envelope system, and it really is nice. Again, like we talked about in the beginning of this episode, to see that cash. So I highly recommend it, even if it's just for 1 month, just to become familiar again with the bank account, but with your money. But what we do now, and I'm in a credit union, I don't know if every credit union or every bank does this. All I did was, and I think I even did this through the drive-thru at one point, I just said, hey, I need to open up like 5 or 6 savings accounts in our main account. And they did. And you can name them. One of the times, like, they asked me, what do you want to name them? And I just said, hey, I'll go home and do it on my app because this is going to be awkward. But what we have that now. So we have our normal checking account, and then below it, I honestly think we have like 8 savings accounts. And I just go in and label them. I can change them what I need to be, but the general ones, we do always have like bills, and what incorporates that: our rent, our groceries, our gas. Those are our 4 main walls. And we have quote unquote envelopes for that. They're just savings accounts. And then anything else, if we have like sinking funds or whatnot. Now, this is where, again, the Dave Ramsey plan, especially where we've got our last debt, which is student loans to pay off. He would say you don't really have a spot for fund money or sinking funds. For us, for our method of working, we usually have 1 or 2 just to kind of give us some, I don't even know what it is. We want to have something to look forward to. We don't use it often. Like, we're not going on trips. We can't. But we do have a sinking fund for swim. And what I mean is, our boys are in swim lessons. And when I say swim lessons, it's survival float lessons. That has become a necessity for us. Some people might say that is just one of those anxieties in my life as a mom, that I need my kids to know how to save their life. If, heaven forbid, they are ever in a situation where I'm not there, they can save themselves. So, sorry. I'm just trying to make the point. You might have something that's like, I'm going to put money towards this, but just really, it has to come down, because even though we do that, I need you to know we don't pay for streaming services. We get whatever we can free and whatnot. We don't really have monthly subscriptions to anything, so it evens out. The point of this is I want you to know like you can do this. And does it create more friction? Because yes, I'll have our debit card, but if I need to go to groceries, I have to physically like transfer that money over. But it creates the friction for us that I know, hey, I have got to be so intentional with what we're spending here. But it also helps that I can jump onto our app and I just see all the categories right there. Like, okay, how much do we have left in groceries? We need to go shopping. So when I'm creating my list, I know here's how much I have to work with. It's very, very, very helpful. So that is a way that if you can do that, I strongly suggest it, especially in this moment. If you are trying to get out of debt or you're building up your savings, definitely do that. Now, how in the world did we pay off $10,000 this year? Well, we cut expenses and we also cut coupons, y'all. I got really good at shopping sales, and that's where my beautiful and amazing friend Dana has been such a great help to me. She is the frugalest person I know, and she's so good at it. Like, so good, it's insane. She has an inventory. Is that the right word for it, Dana? She has a spreadsheet that tracks all of her things that she buys, for her family and groceries, and she tracks the price. So she knows like, hey, what is it generally? What did I see it at the store last week? So if they say they're on a sale, but she's like, well, actually it's like 1 cent cheaper. Like, she is so meticulous and so good at that. And don't worry, she'll be on. But she taught me a lot in grocery shopping. That might have to be a separate episode, Dana, for real. But then we would throw all the extra money we could at our debt. Now, at the point, Britton was the only one working. So that's why I also started doing trim and treatments, was to see what other extra income I could generate. And anything I would make would just go straight to our debt. And then I also have started doing the Walmart delivery driving Spark, is what they call it. Y'all, get into it, especially if you're a stay-at-home mom. You can easily do this with the kids. And don't worry, I have checked the guidelines. Yes, you can do it with kids. The only, what's the word? Not criteria. What is it? The only thing is, let me explain this. Spark driving. So sometimes you will have to go in the store and shop for your person. That can be hard with kids with you. And the rule is they can't necessarily help you. They can't grab the food or check out for you. So they have to be hands off, which can be hard. But there are options that you do just pickups. So you go to the pickup, they bring the groceries to you, and then you just go drop them off. Or especially with the holidays, they've been doing a lot of delivery from store or like shipping. So what will happen is you'll get a huge batch order for like 20 people, and it's 20 items, because it's usually like 1 or 2 items that they're shipping to the person. And you just go for like an hour stopping at 20 houses. But you can do that in the car, and the kids can be in the car. We've made a system. It works. They love it. They get to usually listen to a show while we're doing this. But I'm just making the point, like, even if you are a stay-at-home mom, you can find ways to generate income. Highly suggest the Spark driver. Please, I'll put a referral code if you need it, because then it saves you money too. But don't think that you are just not at all able to help bring income into your family, and it will not take away from your biggest responsibility and your biggest joy of being a mom, because that's very, very big to me. Is if I'm doing this, then I have to remember, like, my biggest priority is being a mom. So I'm speaking to you on that level because I get it, but you can do this. And again, to know that I also am right in the fight with Britton and we are doing this together, it's just awesome. So yes, side hustles. You can also donate plasma, like we've talked about. There's so many other apps. I used to do dog watching before we had kids. That was a great one. That's through, what is it called? WAG? Or there's another one. Rover. That's what it was. Okay, but the main thing, and this is the hard one because it's the least fun, but it works. We are all about to get a tax refund soon. And if you have kids, you're going to get that child tax credit, whatever it is. And if you have multiple kids, that's a lot. The number one thing that no one wants to do with that refund is put it towards debt. To not be able to like use it, right? Because it's always kind of fun to be like, oh my gosh, we just have this like huge chunk of cash. Let's go spend it. Let's go have fun. I know, y'all. We have lived it. I have lived this pain with you. But with our tax refund last year, we decided, okay, if we had this goal, and we're going to talk about goals tomorrow, one of our goals was we wanted to pay $10,000 off this year. And we knew, especially at the time at the beginning of the year where I wasn't working, or no, I was. What, didn't I start German treatments? Either way, I wasn't making that much. And then Brit was now facing the situation of could go into an internship that we needed to get a really, really good boost. And so we took more than half of our refund and we put it towards debt. And y'all, to see that much money go towards something and to not show anything for it, it sucked. It wasn't fun. The remainder of the money we used, we actually looked up all of our annual bills. So like life insurance, car insurance, the things that you pay annually. And then we took the rest of that money and just put it away in we have savings account, a digital envelope for annual bills. And we just put it in there and we just hid it. That's another life tip hack. At least on mine, you can hide your account so you don't see it on your main dashboard. So you truly forget it's there. Again, not fun. We didn't get to go spend it on like a huge trip or whatnot, but we had security through the year. And there were moments that it was like, oh my gosh, thank heavens we had this money. Otherwise, I don't know how we would have gotten through this. So that was the biggest thing that we could do to get ahead of this. And even though we did pay off $10,000, I'm getting so real with y'all, we still have over $40,000 in student debt. It is our last debt, I'm so proud to say, but it's still that amount. And so just know we're still in the fight of it. We are working with you, alongside you, because we've got our own battles and we've had to learn certain things for us, like how do we react with money? How do we treat money? And it's been a good little wake up call. The other thing, last note, and then I will get off this. You're going to realize there are two types of people when you're dealing with a budget. You have, and this is a Dave Ramsey term. I think it's actually, whether it's him or Rachel Cruz, his daughter, you're going to have kind of like a nerd, and then you're going to have a free spirit, a saver and a spender, right? I have come to find out I am the nerd in as far as like keeping track of the finances, but there are some days that I can be the spender. And it's usually with bigger purchases. And we noticed Brit is the opposite. He is more of the spender in smaller purchases. But when it comes to the bigger purchases, he can like sit there and be totally analytical and like look at the end of the line. So we even each other out. With that though, this is a Dave Ramsey thing, is when you make the budget, whoever the nerd is, whoever gravitates more towards setting the budget and like getting all the analytics of your finances for the month together, you have to, it should already be done together as a couple, but to make sure that everyone is incorporated, whoever didn't put together the budget or whoever is the free spirit, whatnot, they then have to look at the budget and they have to change one thing. So I know for Brit, usual for him is, I see this budget, I see this excess. I want to I want to go out to dinner once this month. And so then we take whatever extra money we can, and it's like, hey, that is going to be put aside $50 then we go out once this month. Again, I don't know if Dave Ramsey ever hears this and be like, what are you doing? But for us, that has helped. That has helped keep the motivation and the consistency up. Or it's, hey, I need to be able to go in and grab a drink at the gas station. And it's, okay, we put $30 aside for the month. There you go. When it's done, it's done. But it's like, it can be little things like that. And truly for our situation, it has helped. So I'm just trying to give you all the little things that I can. I want you to know we are in no way perfect. We are still working every day, but I really wanted to share this, especially as we're getting into the new year, because gaining that structure and that security back into our life, it has been so great, so incredible. And we can just breathe sigh of relief now. So hopefully, I know that was a ramble. Hopefully you were able to stay on track. Please, please, please let me know if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts about maybe what I'm missing, like, hey, maybe try this. Let me know. Text me, email me, whatever it is. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for being here. Day 11. We're coming on to the last one. And I hope you just, if anything, have a great day today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.